It's Monday, March 21st, 2016. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, we're talking about technology news.
Okay. Let's do this. So first of all, we haven't done a tech news roundup since April last year, so it's okay to do it again.
We basically spent an hour arguing about what to do the show on because Scott does not like most tech ideas, nor does he want to talk about tech news, except in the context of a tech news roundup.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, it's been a year since we did it, so we can do it again once, and we'll think of something for next Monday. But anyway, check this out. So, let's say you go to poop.
All right.
You go to poop, and you look...
What, like fountains of blood? Like, where's this going?
Well, I was just about to say, what would be the most disconcerting thing to come out of your butt?
Fountains of blood.
Right. So fountains of blood did not come out because obviously I would be in some sort of hospital and not recording a podcast. But what if...
So from what I've gathered, this is kind of a total aside, a scary percentage of American adult men, when, not necessarily fountains, but when significant amounts of blood come out of there, oftentimes they do not go to the doctor out of shame and just kind of let it be and hope it goes away.
That's like the most serious thing besides blood coming out of your mouth is blood coming out of the other end.
Well, the thing is, it's one of those things where most of the time, yeah, you got a hemorrhoid.
If you got a hemorrhoid, you should still go to a doctor.
There's nothing you can do about them except wait.
There's plenty you can do.
Sit less.
Yeah, sit less. That's a good start.
Anyway.
Sit on a donut. That's a good start.
All right, I'm curious where this is going because obviously something came out of your butt.
Right. So
it wasn't a fountain of blood.
No, so some poop came out, and the poop, disconcertingly, was green.
Green. All right, that
Greenish.
implies gallstone issues.
No.
Or gallbladder issues.
All right. So first of all, I was very surprised. Number one, usually you expect this to happen when, like, you ate a bunch of green food, right? That's totally normal.
Nah, usually I expect it to happen when you eat way too much oily, greasy food.
Well, I mean, there have been times where I've eaten, like, a whole ton of lettuce all at once, and then when I poop...
I don't think that makes your poop green unless you didn't chew.
Like, shreds of lettuce come out.
Yeah, that shreds, Scott. That means you didn't chew.
I don't chew very much, that is for sure. I definitely eat too fast and don't chew enough. But anyway, so some poop came out that was tinted green, and then when I wiped my butt, like, on the toilet paper, it looked like a grass stain. And I was like, whoa, that's weird.
All right,
and
so...
what made it even weirder was that I had not eaten anything green recently. So then I'm like, well, okay, it's just one poop. We'll see what happens in the next poops. The next poop comes around.
So everything I'm reading is backing up what I was saying about green stool so far.
So anyway, I poop again, and it's green again. And I'm like, whoa, now we have an issue. So I searched the internet now.
See, because you
And I was very surprised the internet did not say... cancer, you're gonna die. I was like shocked that it didn't say, like, it wasn't really a big deal. They're like, oh yeah, there's actually bile that's green.
Yep.
It's supposed to get reabsorbed in your large intestine.
Yep.
And if there's a problem, it won't get reabsorbed. And that's kind of an issue. Go see a doctor about it if it keeps happening. It could be bad, but it's not the end of the world, really.
Yeah,
it's not AIDS, you're not dying. It's kind of, it happens.
In fact, from what I gather, the more dangerous one is if you have pale poop.
Yeah,
regularly.
that's super dangerous. So anyway,
well, it's more that there's a pigment that's missing because of stuff. Oh, why is there? Wow, I just realized I typed green stool into Google right now, and it showed me people also ask.
I typed, why is my poop green?
What does it mean if my poop is green? What does it mean if my poop is black?
Sure.
Why is your poop brown? What does it mean if your poop is red?
Right. So anyway, yeah, red is bad. So anyway, I pooped again today. It was not green at all. But in between the second green poop and today, right? Today was just sort of like, whew, I was right. I figured out what the issue was.
All right, I'm real curious.
I ordered a food from Grubhub the other week.
And one of the ingredients was just like a bucket of green food coloring?
No, so it's this place called Burger Club near me, but I don't order a burger from them. I order this chicken sandwich they make, which is a kind of a long-ish sandwich, but not super long, right?
All right.
And they put the grilled chicken, but they grill it so nice so it still tastes good and it's not dry. And then they put on, it's almost like steak on French bread we used to get, only with quality ingredients. They put on the cheeses, but it's like real cheese, not bullshit cheese. And they put on, the peppers, the onions, the mushrooms, and the bacon. And then this special sauce. It's good. And it comes with fries. You can get waffle, sweet potato, or regular fries, but they're hand cut and they make them there. It's not like frozen fries. It's good shit.
All right, so they make
if you buy this chicken sandwich, it does not meet the $15 delivery limit. So you need to buy something else.
Uh-oh.
I'm only one person, so there's not much I can buy. I can either get dessert or a beverage to put it over the limit. And a regular beverage like a lemonade doesn't put you over. You got to go milkshake.
I will usually, in that case, I was about to say, get the milkshake. Or get the dessert you can eat the next day.
It's weird to get the milkshake in the winter. Yeah, because when you eat that chicken sandwich and the fries, you don't have room for the cake, okay?
Yeah.
Unless you're some sort of, really large person, which I'm
Granted, not that long ago, we tried to go downstairs to get a burger and they were full. So we went to another place and got food. And on the way back, we're like, oh, the burger place is open. And then I had a burger.
What the fuck? Anyway.
I'm a master man.
Maybe Rim can get the dessert. I can only get the milkshake. Because it's actually a small milkshake. It's not full size.
All right.
But it's $4. It puts you over the top of the delivery limit. So
did you get a green milkshake because of St. Patrick's Day and then forget?
No, I did not. I did not get green milkshake at fuck St. Patrick's Day. It's the worst holiday ever.
It's only the worst holiday because we live in New York.
Fuck St. Patrick.
Yeah.
Let the snakes stay. Anyway. So they do have a wide variety of interesting milkshakes to choose from. And
did you choose Bile?
No. I usually choose something like strawberry banana, which actually has real strawberries and bananas like in it, or like this Oreo one, which has like crushed up Oreo in it. Right?
See, I like very complex food. Like I think I have a
you get the
moderately
simple
complex
milkshakes?
palate. Yeah, when it comes to milkshakes,
I sometimes
want
also
vanilla. I want vanilla with Oreos in it. Maybe I want like salted caramel. Like that's pushing it.
I mean, I'll get strawberry. I'll get vanilla. Right?
Yeah, strawberry's often low rent.
They have so many varieties of milkshake. I like to try them all.
But the thing is, in most places, a strawberry milkshake is fake-ish strawberry flavor.
Not from this place.
Yeah,
it's real strawberry.
If I see them mushing up strawberries in my vanilla ice cream, yeah.
There are strawberries in there because you can't get them through your straw. So there might be also strawberry syrup, but there are also
That's fine.
real strawberries in the milkshake.
It's got to be at least more than one real strawberry.
There will be many real strawberries in it because the banana one, you get chunks of banana stuck in the straw. Anyway, they had a new one on the menu that looked interesting, so I ordered it. It was the Cookie Monster milkshake.
Was it blue?
It was the color of Cookie Monster.
So,
and I did not put that 2 and 2 together.
Your brain was like, green is not blue. This is irrelevant information.
But
I will not send it up the chain.
There was so much food coloring in that milkshake.
So
that was really, you know what it was? It wasn't even that good. It was a vanilla milkshake with blue food coloring and crushed up cookie dough bits, but not enough of them.
Oh, see, it should have at least been like some blueberry flavor.
I mean, they should have. If it was blueberry, right, it would have not been food coloring.
No. A Cookie Monster
I've
milkshake.
had blue poops after blueberries.
A Cookie Monster milkshake should just be cookies and cream, but like triple the amount of cookie you put in it.
It should just be cookie dough bits. Just a whole bunch of them.
It should just be
like 50% cookie dough bits, 50% ice cream.
No, just put a whole bunch of chocolate chip cookies in a blender and just blend it.
But yeah, don't order the Cookie Monster milkshake.
Wow.
That's all I gotta say.
So, I guess my opening bit.
I killed plenty of time.
What I was going to talk about is that I am scoping out the state of building a new PC because my PC is getting a little bit long in the tooth.
What's wrong with it?
Doesn't have USB.
How long tooth? Narwhal long?
2009 is pushing the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, didn't you upgrade it once?
No, what do you mean upgrade it?
You replaced the GPU, didn't you?
I've replaced the GPU 3 times.
Whoa. So it has a good enough GPU.
The GPU's fine. It's a GTX 770. That's actually
fine.
plenty.
It's got an i7?
It's got the best i7
Nothing
in 2009.
wrong with that. How much RAM does it have?
It's got the max I could put in there.
Which is how much?
12.
You think you need 16 these days.
I would like 32 because 32,
I have 32 at home.
does not cost appreciably more than 16.
So at work, my laptop actually is an X220. It's old, right? But it doesn't need a GPU because it's work. I don't need GPU at my work. So that's not a problem, right? It's got an i7. It's fast enough. It gets my job done.
Now, my point out, Scott, it's the new, like the modern i7 with the different numbering, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my i7
no, an X220 is actually, I think it's as old as your
X220?
Yeah, that's a Lenovo X220.
Oh, yeah.
So
I was about to say, there's no Intel. So
it has the non-chiclet keyboard. It's so old.
So do you have a Core? You might not have the Core i7. I guess 920.
I don't know. I don't know what one is in there. I have to.
You might have the weird
mobile
i7.
It's definitely a mobile one for sure.
Yeah,
anyway,
I got the legit one.
So but it's fast enough for my work, no problem.
Yeah. So
right?
my i7.
And I have 2 SSDs, one in the docking station and one in the laptop.
But Scott, I've talked about this in the show before. The limitations are one, I've got old ass SATA that actually is not fast enough to read 4K video live.
Yeah, I'm not video editing it.
Well, I am.
But also, the problem is it only has 8 gigs of RAM, and I can't get more in there. I already filled it.
I'm using 8 now.
That's what I'm saying. Is at work I'm running, even though I'm not doing fancy video editing or anything. I got my freaking VirtualBox running to do my work and stuff, and Chrome and 2 browsers going. I use all 8 gigs of the RAM if I open it up, and not because it's inefficient memory usage, because I'm using so much stuff just to get my job done. What happens is when I switch tabs in Chrome, because it's out of memory, Chrome actually unloads the tabs I'm not looking at recently from RAM, which includes my Mail tab, which has Hangouts in it. So like if I move away from the Hangouts tab, that tab will unload. If I go back to it, it'll reload. So if you message me on Hangouts, it goes to my phone because Hangouts isn't running. So I need to get more RAM, and it's like I kind of need a new work computer just to get more RAM in there because I'm at the limit. And that sucks because everything else is still just fine.
So I've run into a lot of problems just with the computer being old. In terms of, like, actually my GPU is underperforming because that's how old the buses are.
Oh, so the GPU could go into PCI Express 16, whatever, but you don't have.
There's a lot, like, that's how old this stupid computer is.
But I found in my experience that hasn't really mattered that much. Like I put an 880 into like my older whatever. I upgraded the GPU in my old computer, and the performance like went through the roof.
And I'm telling you, if
matter.
I were not editing video, like 4K video, literally no reason to upgrade. But that is the thing.
Well, just stop recording in 4K then.
Yeah, you could actually.
You could do 1080p's.
You could, and that would save me a lot of editing grief. Like, so to edit our videos,
I mean, if it's not something beautiful that needs to be in 4K, if it's just our faces, we can do 1080p.
The problem is that actually the 4K makes it way better for the rendering and the effects, and I can do the digital zoom.
Well, I can do a digital zoom in the camera. If you do 1080p, right? So the camera, when you do 4K, the camera that I have, when you do 4K, it's 1 pixel to 1 pixel, obviously, because there's only so many pixels in the sensor, right? If you do 1080p, it's actually 4 to 1. It's using the same area on the camera that the 4K would be recorded in, but taking 4 pixels on the sensor and merging them into 1 pixel in the resulting MPEG. You can tell it to just do a 1-to-1, right? And use 1 pixel on the sensor for 1 pixel on the resulting video for 1080p, and you get a 2x digital zoom without, really losing much, right?
The problem with that is that by having the full 4K and you zooming out a little bit, I'm always hesitant because I like to take a really close shot of us, but we will migrate back and forth occasionally. So having the wider frame means I have the leeway to like have a back out zoom if one of us, and we both do it with equal quantities. You'll just like walk way over to the left for no reason. I'll like just start slowly drifting to the right for no reason. So having that extra space helps a lot. But when I edit the videos, I actually have to turn off the preview of the 4K, do all my editing, and then I go back in with the preview on and like do all my final framing and everything.
I think something else I'm going to start trying is trusting the battery in the camera more. I've always positioned the camera based on where the outlets are and just dealing with it. I think if we have a fully charged camera battery, we can theoretically make it through a panel.
Well, if you do that,
and we can put the camera in the optimal position,
and I'll put my camera in the
optimal
holes.
Lighting.
I'll put my camera in the holes, the camcorder for the backup,
the safety in case right? Because it says on the camera it's going to last an hour plus. So.
Yeah, an hour plus. I've seen that number.
No, it actually says like how many minutes. It's like an hour 20-something minutes or like 2.
We'll see.
If I fully charge a battery, we can make it through one panel.
But doing that and actually doing some audio stuff, like in Audition, like there's some effects that max my CPU out if I try to render them live.
Well, I mean, they're going to max out any CPU. You're getting a better CPU will improve the time, but it won't. You're still going to max out.
No, actually, because pretty much I'm right below the limit for a lot of these things. About 3.1 gigahertz processor is actually the point at which these things will all happen in real time. And I'm at 2.67 because that was the best you could buy in 2009.
I think I have 3 or 4. I don't remember.
Yeah, then you have a way later. 2009, 2.67.
Yeah, I usually start looking at upgrading computers in 5 years. Right? And mine is less than 5 years. It's like 3 or 4 years.
And also, so the funny thing is, my computer was doing way worse. So I took the computer and dusted the fuck out of it. And I discovered that a lot of the fans weren't working too well, so I replaced all the busted fans. And it is working significantly faster now. But not fast enough.
I brought up too many cans of air. I'm going to blow mine out.
But anyway, the current state of the art, if you spend under $2,000, you can build a goddamn supercomputer.
You can build a supercomputer for $800.
$800, you're missing out on a lot of stuff. For about $1,500, you can get a really good case. You can get a 4 gigahertz, 4-core Core i7, the best fucking Core i7. You can cool it enough to where it'll actually run around 5 gigahertz. And you can get 64 gigs of RAM.
Overclocking RAM?
Huh?
You gonna go overclock now?
So I was gonna overclock this guy, but because we were talking about the fact that the upper end Intel chips don't come with heat sinks anymore, I looked into why, and the reality is the 4 gigahertz i7 uses like 30 fucking more watts than the 3.4 gigahertz one.
It's that much of a difference. Wow.
Yes, the difference is between 60 watts and 90 watts
Okay.
or more. But if you have a good cooler on a modern Intel chip, you can just overclock it, and you can tell it, here's your limit, and it'll just go as fast as it can go, and if it starts getting too hot...
Oh, so you're not hacking it? It's like built in? Like,
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's just a matter of cooling. And I didn't realize how good this was until Emily has the same computer as me. And some stuff was going real slow. And what we discovered was that one of her fan, like her CPU, just like, we realized the fan wasn't spinning at full speed, so we fixed it immediately. But instead of crashing, what her computer did is clocked itself down to like a gigahertz.
It's always been like that. You remember that video of they're playing Quake on and they have an Intel Pentium 4 and they have an Athlon and they take the cooling off of both of them.
And the video's like
the Athlon chip, the magic smoke comes out. The Intel chip, it just Quake like goes down to 0 FPS. Then they put the heatsink back on the Pentium, and suddenly Quake goes back up to 60 FPS or whatever it's at.
So they're way better than that now.
They've been doing that for a long time.
Our friend James just posted a picture of he had taken the heatsink off of one of these chips recently to do some stuff, and he discovered that it had never actually made full contact.
Whoa.
Ever. So, you know those 3 bands of goop that are on there? 2 of the bands unsmudged.
You didn't clamp it down hard enough?
No, it just, for some reason, it didn't seat fully.
Oh.
It was clamped all the way down, and the performance loss appears to have been negligible. But yeah, the reality is you need actually some serious aftermarket cooling if you want to use the upper end Intel chip. So if you buy the fastest i7...
Just get the water cooling, fuck it.
Yeah, actually I was looking into that. So instead of getting full water cooling, what you usually do...
I want you to spill water everywhere, and I want to laugh.
What I'm probably going to get is the thing
You're going to ruin your expensive equipment with water.
Because to get a heatsink that'll cool it well enough, it's kind of big and bulky and like blarg. You're actually better off getting these thin ones that look like a video card, and that's all the heatsink shit in there. And there's just 2 heat pipes going to and from a little knob that just sits on top of the CPU, which used to be only the realm of overclockers, but it appears that this is now also the realm of if you buy the highest end Intel chips, you kind of just need it, or there was no reason.
Why don't you just include that good shit with it?
Because the kinds of people who buy that chip are doing nonsense overclocking anyway, and they just throw the Intel one away.
I think most consumers who are buying a chip on its own are doing nonsense.
They're not going to buy that one because you can't buy that one with a cooler built in. They're going to buy the 3.4 gigahertz one is going to be fine.
Whatever.
But anyway, things of the day. You know, so there's that common meme of, what if we did X, but we were honest? Or like literal music videos. This is one of those things, but it's really good because it's usually those things don't pull a lot of punches. They're usually kind of sardonic and negative about the thing that they're doing a fake ad about. This one pulls so few punches. It's basically Mike Tyson telling you why you shouldn't fucking drink soda. It's really good.
All right, so one thing you can do in this world if you don't have skills, or maybe you only have one skill, is to buy an expensive machine and make your living off of that expensive machine. For example, laser cutter. Great.
Yeah.
You get a laser cutter, suddenly you got a business, right? As soon as you pay for the laser cutter, it's not something, most people need things laser cut, but not frequently enough that they would buy a fucking laser cutter.
Yeah.
So they come to you and they give you $5 and you laser cut their shit or etch or whatever you're doing.
Like most people don't silk screen their own shirts.
The machine cost you a few thousand, but you pay that off pretty quickly and you're good to go. So this guy, I guess he works in a machine shop, and he has a YouTube channel, which is the Hydraulic Press channel.
Oh, I see where this is going.
He owns a hydraulic press. He seems to own other machines and makes money by using them, but he's now got an additional revenue stream, which is make videos of the hydraulic press pressing things.
Forget YouTube. That should just be like a TV show.
Right. So, yeah, this channel currently has, let's see, how many subscribers? 157,000, and it's only like 5 months old. And he's posting videos consistently, like weekly. Some of these videos have millions of views. In fact, He did one. Can you fold paper more than 7 times
No way.
with hydraulic press?
There's no way.
That one has 7 million views. You can watch it and find out if you can fold paper more than 7 times with hydraulic press.
My best guess
The
is
best part
that
about this is that unlike that Will It Blend guy, whoever's doing this, number one, isn't selling anything. He's not trying to sell hydraulic presses. He's just selling entertainment for free. And 2, he has funny accent, which might be Russian or other European style that is really, really adds to the videos and makes them hilarious. It's like you just wish you could.
I did actually watch a few of them, and his commentary and reaction when things go, shall we say, unexpectedly, makes it.
Yeah, this is like the most excellent channel. You can get in early. I mean, we're not super early. Some of these videos have 7 million views, but it's only 5 months old. So I subscribed. I'm going to watch every single thing he presses with his hydraulic press. Also, don't put your fingers near a hydraulic press. Good God.
Yeah, he's just holding stuff under it. Like, I guess you have a lot of fine control. It doesn't move fast.
It moves fast as you move the lever.
Does it? Is it proportional, or are you?
Listen, I don't want to know any more about it than I have to. Dangerous machine, stay away. This is another good thing. If a machine that's dangerous is not something a lot of people want, so you can sell usage of it if you know how to use it properly.
Oh man, I feel like I'm just gonna binge watch this entire.
There's not a lot to watch so far. It's only a few months old, right?
Yeah, not bad. It's like when we got in on Strong Bad in those early days.
Yeah, the newest one he posted just today is Hockey Puck, and that's how I found it, because the R Hockey linked to this Hockey Puck one.
Ooh.
That was real interesting. Very interesting.
In the meta moment, we're going to be at Anime Boston this
soon.
weekend. It's probably going to be our last Anime Boston. You can go to the forum to find out why that's the case, but that's neither here nor there. Friday, 2 panels, role-playing anime, judge anime by its cover. Saturday, how to run an anime club, more foreign anime openers, which, for those of you who have seen us do foreign anime openers,
it's the same.
Nope. 95% new content. The only things I reuse, I'll tell you straight up, I reuse Italian One Piece and German Sailor Moon because, come on.
What about Captain Harlock?
I left out the captain.
No! This panel's ruined.
Yeah. However, I'm going to poll the audience. If the far majority of the audience has never seen this panel, fuck it. I'm just showing the regular version.
Yeah.
Because really,
the one person who was looking for new stuff will be like, oh.
Yeah. So the way I frame this is what I'm going to do at Kineticon and any other cons we go to is on Friday, I'm going to do part 1, and on Saturday, part 2. This is a panel I'm going to take on the road show now because a little bird just told me that kind of panel would be totally accepted and scheduled at MagFest.
Oh, really?
Music.
I guess, sure.
Also, they just do whatever people want. MagFest is a festival. Go nuts.
I thought they had like didn't they lose their nonprofit? Or
they're a nonprofit, but they're a festival. Music and fan culture and awesome stuff.
Okay. It's not part of their charter, anime openers?
MagFest actually is doing a lot of things right.
All right.
So,
well, it didn't fail this year, so good job, MagFest.
It was actually
you exceeded expectations.
It was an above average MagFest.
I golf
for me.
clap you.
And
I will come to you again next year.
The weekend right after Anime Boston, we're going to be at ZenkaiCon, or at least I'm going to be at ZenkaiCon. Scott's waffling.
I really want to go there.
If you go, Chris and Anthony are going to be in the room with us. And we're just going to play 4-player games the entire time.
George is looking for a room. Let him have my spot.
Oh yeah. If George probably wants to bring other people. If you don't come,
I think he was looking for just himself.
Oh, if it's just himself, all right. I'll follow up on that. But yes, we'll be at ZenkaiCon, or at least I'll be there doing a ton of panels. I forget what. I guess I should look at what I'm doing there. But Saturday and Sunday only. Nothing on Friday. I'm not taking a day off work. And then PAX East is coming up like right after that with Atari Game Design. Let me tell you, I watched the video of us doing this at PAX South because I was thinking about putting it on YouTube. And this panel's actually amazing to watch. So we're gonna record it at
Didn't
PAX
feel
East.
amazing to do.
It's real funny to watch.
Anyway.
And people seem to really like it. So we're probably gonna record the definitive version at PAX East, having practiced it a bunch.
Other meta things. So in case you didn't know, right? We are everywhere there is on the internet. You can find us there, right?
We have a subreddit that no one uses.
I'm sure there's tumbles and tweets and Facebooks and.
Do we have a Tumblr? I don't think we have a Tumblr.
I thought you made one at one
I
point.
stopped that a long time ago.
I'm just saying it exists.
Yeah. In fact, the stuff I used to post in the Tumblr is all going in the Patreon now.
Yeah, I guess that exists too. Whatever.
But the Patreon, so you guys know, 90% of all the content that we do is on the Patreon for free, so you can just follow it without giving us money. You only have to give us money if you want to get the Rims Rants, the Rimley Reviews with Rim and Emily.
But if you don't pay money, you can't see the Patreon at all. You can't see anything.
I think
I can't see anything.
Without logging in, you can see all the the public content.
I'm logged in without paying, and I can't see anything.
Anything at all?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
That's interesting because if I link to a page that's public,
and whenever I click on any of your links, even if I'm logged in, it says, "Oh, you're not paying for this. You can't see."
Are you sure? Because almost all the links I post are the not public links.
Maybe I'll have to check again, but I'm pretty sure I can't see shit.
I'll send you a link to something. We'll see if you can see it.
All right.
Anyway, we're getting real close because a few people just gave us a bunch of money. We're $40 away from that stretch goal where I'm going to release with commentary and remastering every beta episode of Geek Nights before we went live.
Stop giving him money for no reason.
Also, it might be enough money if it continues at current levels to where we'll just fucking go to PAX Australia like you guys were all asking us to.
Or
might just pay for it.
I'll spend it on a different vacation.
No, you don't get to go on vacation with the Patreon money unless you do Geek Nights content.
They're stupid enough to give us their money. I'll do whatever I want.
No, then I'll go to Australia and make content.
You have more money than me, so I should get the money. It's called the equality.
My goal is actually to not be working for
I
a
told
company.
it, I told them not to give, and they did, so I'm the one who gets to punish them for their mistake.
Well, so there was one person, Scott, who did lower their pledge. They're like, I thought a lot about what Scott said.
Yeah.
And he lowered his pledge from like $6 to $5.
God damn it. You're so dumb.
But seriously, if money is a problem for you, don't fucking give us money.
Oh my God, Rim actually said not to give money for once.
If $1 a month actually makes a difference in your life,
it makes a difference for me. So if you make less money than me, you should.
$1 a month, you can't even buy
That's
a bagel.
A whole bagel.
No, it's just a bagel a month. No, it's not. Not where I am downtown.
I got my bodega right near me. $1 bagel.
Scott, for $1
with butter.
I can get a steamed bagel.
I can get a boiled bagel for $1.
I can't get a boiled bagel for $1 near my office.
The bagels of the bodega are real good. Toasted with butter, $1.
Oh, you're toasting a fresh bagel? What the fuck, Scott?
Who says it's fresh?
Oh, okay. I was imagining like a hot and crusty bagel.
I can tell them not to toast.
I mean, the hot and crusty
butter.
bagel's like $2.15.
Also, I do agree you don't toast the fresh bagel. I do like it to be warm, like it's out of the oven. And if it's been out of the oven for more than a few hours, you can at least warm it.
Oh, true.
Toast it lightly. Don't, char it.
Yeah, the thing is I like it a little char, like just a tiny bit.
Anyway, also, I remembered to do the newsletter again.
Yeah, the newsletter is super good, guys.
I put in my remember thing to send it out at the end of the month, which is soon. So I guess I had to think of something to say.
Subscribe to the Geek Nights newsletter. Honestly,
it's free, unlike some bullshit Patreon. I'm going to do more free stuff soon, too.
You said that when I started the Patreon.
It takes a long time to do stuff.
Oh, it takes a long time to do stuff. It's effort. It's a lot of work to do stuff.
Also, the sun's not out. It makes it hard.
Yeah, actually,
all the things that I thought about doing, I need the sun to be out and I need to be warm.
So guys, the real test of the Patreon will be if I continue this high level of output when it's warm.
I think you're going to see the output flip when it's warm because I'm just going to go outside and bring the camera with me.
Yeah.
And make some videos and shit outside. So yeah, there's that. Oh, what's the book club?
The book club is gonna be Oryx and Crake. Margaret Atwood.
So I'm just gonna say it is. I'm gonna read it now because I need something to read.
No, but Randall Torres doing some shit, so I gotta find out what's going on.
I'm gonna start reading the other thing first.
So Scott, I don't want to spoil stuff for you, but someone might have tried to clean the male half of the source.
Good job.
Yeah.
A+.
And we'll see what's happening.
They almost definitely failed though, right?
So all I'm gonna say is that basically this whole book is all goes around every character you can imagine around the entire world, and they're in the middle of their crazy thing, and then suddenly they're all like, what the fuck is going on way off in the distance?
Mm-hmm.
They can all feel it.
Listen, if they clean it up, then all those messed up dudes will suddenly be not messed up and it'll be totally awesome.
Yeah, maybe. So stuff's going down.
But they're
in the
almost
Wheel of
definitely
Time.
going to fail because that would be pretty lame if they just succeeded so easily.
So I'm not going to start reading Oryx and Crake until I at least finish the current Wheel of Time book I'm in.
I'm going to read Oryx and Crake starting tonight.
Which is book 11.
Actually, no, I'm going to finish reading Astro Boy Omnibus 1 and 2. Then I'm going to read Oryx and Crake.
All right, by then I should be done with my current Wheel of Time book.
I only have one chapter left.
And the last thing I'm going to announce right now, I'm going to make a documentary on my Civilization 5 empire in this giant public game we're playing, but
that's lame.
I am not going to post it until the game is done because there are spies. I mean, Scott won't even let me see his game.
There's nothing to see.
You want me to help you?
You're going to see 2 cities and 2 really good spots where there should be cities, but there aren't.
Scott, if you send me 1 gold a month in game, I will look at your game and give you real advice.
I'm making
I will be your
I'm
advisor.
only making a gold a turn.
Oh. Well, if you give me that gold.
No, I need that gold.
Do you have anything else you can give me? Like some horses?
I have horses. They're my horses.
What are you going to use them for?
A horseman.
You're going to make one horseman. That one gold is gone.
I can get the improvement that's like no upkeep on X number of dudes.
What upkeep? What is? Oh, you mean the policy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Anyway.
It's actually, you should probably do that one with the size of your empire.
That's what I'm saying.
That'll protect you later.
It's a good one.
Anyway, Tech News Roundup. I thought we should just do news like this as every Monday episode, but Scott seems to disagree.
Tech News Roundup too often turns this into not Geek Nights. We need topics, so send Monday topics. They have to be about technology, not about law relating to technology, and not about business that happens to be technology companies, actually about technology.
So there's this company, Boom Aerospace, whatever they're called, but basically the deal is they think they can bring back supersonic air travel.
Oh, like the Concorde.
Yes. They basically want to make Concorde 2 Explodey Boogaloo, and they think... Now, I don't...
What's their plan? I'm skep, obviously.
Well, the technology exists. I mean, the Concorde existed.
Yes, I know the technology exists. That's not in question.
So their plan is basically a lot like the Concorde's, business class only. It costs the same as business class. It's as comfortable as coach, but it gets you there in an hour or two. So with the technology they're going to use, which is just modern technology.
So just this newer than a Concorde, better jets than what a Concorde
so like
has?
material science has actually come a long way.
Yeah.
New York
Concordes
to London,
are way old. They're like from the 70s.
New York to London would take 3 hours and 24 minutes and cost about $5,000 round trip.
That's not bad.
Now, here's why I'm skeptical.
Obviously still skeptical.
A business class, like when I fly business class to London, it's way comfortable. Like I have a lay down bed, like super good food, and it only takes like 6 hours. So it'll only save me a couple hours. That's actually not worth it.
It's not fat. They got to go faster.
Yeah, but
How
they're
fast
already
is it
going
going?
Mach 2. And also, one of the main reasons you can't go that much
Why
faster...
can't it go like SR-71 fast?
Because then it'll have like one seat.
We can't make one that's big, that's like the same shape?
The problems
Just
that...
put 2 more engines
So
on
the
it?
problems you start to run into are, one, they generate so much heat that they have to fly higher and higher to have less atmosphere.
Well, you're wearing basically a spacesuit in one of those things anyway.
So the higher and higher they go, the more energy they need to get up there.
Listen, if you tell me I'm going to be in Japan in an hour, I'm wearing the spacesuit, and I don't care how uncomfortable it is. You
Yeah, I
can
don't
put me
think
in
Japan
you can
in
put
an
me in a
hour.
capsule in the bomb bay or some shit, right? I don't care.
Yeah. But it comes down to they actually have to go slow when they're over land because they're so loud
It has
that
the famous double sonic boom.
yeah, they'll actually
Boom,
be
boom.
disruptive.
2 booms.
So I also
2 booms,
learned
no rooms.
you realize, Scott, that a supersonic plane actually going super fast, it's not just like there's one sonic boom and then you're good. It's constantly sonic booming over and over and over and over again. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom.
I'm well aware.
And it's so loud on the ground, even when you're way high up, that's a problem. So
I'm
they can't
aware
use
of this
them
as well.
over land. So
If
they're
there's
not
one
actually
airplane
that
nerds
feasible.
know about, it's the Blackbird.
Yeah.
Even if you're not an airplane nerd.
The SR-71 is probably the coolest airplane ever made.
Every nerd knows about this one plane.
Except apparently the SR-71 Blackbird has seats for all the X-Men in it.
Yes. And like a medical bay.
Yeah.
And-
No, in reality, that thing had seats for like, what, 2 people? 1 person?
I
Not
think
a lot.
2 people could be in it, for sure. At least 2 people.
I think there is a future for supersonic travel, but I do not think that future is now. And I think the limitations are energy costs and economics. It's not worth it to get to London a couple hours faster.
No, I think, personally, I think we'd be much better off with just like bullet trains. They go 500 miles an hour, which is about what regular planes that we have now go. It's not really that much slower. And you don't have to go deal with airport bullshit because you're just in a train. It goes choo-choo, but doesn't even go choo-choo. It just
I mean, we've talked about this. If we had bullet trains in New York, like between like all the way up and down, like the good part of New York on the east side, then you could live in Albany and commute to Manhattan.
I don't think it's infeasible to make a train to London from New York that goes over the ocean.
I will withhold my judgment on the feasibility of that.
Listen, I'm saying that would be like the greatest engineering project of the 21st century. It's an enormous thing, but I'm saying it's not impossible. We could definitely do it if we wanted to. It would be easier to do that than it would be to go to the Mars.
Yeah, I might agree with that, but
And I think we can do both things are within the level of that is possible the things that humans can achieve. We can do it. If
I
if we wanted to, and people paid money for it, it could happen.
I withhold my judgment on the feasibility of a New York to London train.
The only problem I would have is if something happens on the train in the middle of the ocean.
Planes have that problem already.
Yes, but a plane, you can like jump out or do.
You can't.
Yep.
They're not parachutes on like the 777.
A plane also becomes a boat at some point.
So why can't the train become a boat just the same?
Because it's on like this rail. You're stuck on this rail. You're going to go down the ladder into the ocean and get on a boat. Actually, that's not a bad idea. You could have boats like on the pillars holding the thing up every once in a while.
Oh, pillars. You're not thinking a tube under the water?
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
The thing is, if that thing cracks, like some whale bumps into it.
So I guess I'm real excited about all these alternate transport things, but I feel like international travel, like long distance travel, being that much shorter is not the bang for its buck that making mid-regional transport faster would be.
Let's just make a New York to LA train first and then worry about London.
New York to LA, I'm talking just Northeastern Corridor. That's all you need for the vast majority of America's GDP.
Right. Sure, but I'm saying 500 miles an hour to LA. That's good shit.
That's not that much faster than planes. I'd probably still fly.
I'm saying it's plane speed-ish, basically, but you don't have to go bother with planes, and it could fill a lot more people in it. Right? You can
maybe
fill it with people.
Depends on where you put it.
It can be way long.
Also, that right of way, God, you're gonna have some eminent domain problems.
Most of that, once you get past like the East Coast, there's plenty just open fucking space.
Anyway, you got a news? I guess let's just alternate till we run out of news.
Okay, let's talk about Apple News. So Apple News,
that's a cheater. That's like 8 newses.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna do all 8 newses now. So Apple News number 1, the iWatch. Is actually they came out with a watch band for it that's actually kind of nice. Like that's the watch band I would get if I was gonna get an iWatch and I didn't have a Pebble Watch because it's really similar to the band I have in my Pebble Watch.
Yeah, they also brought the price down.
Yeah, so the price down is actually a big deal. It basically is acknowledgement that, oh shit, the Pebble is competition and the iWatch isn't enticing enough.
Yeah, because the Pebble does like 80% of what the iWatch does. The battery lasts 10 days, and it costs a fraction of what the iWatch costs.
I'm telling you, everything Apple does, version 1 is always not worth getting. Would you get iPhone 1? Look at the difference between iPhone 1 and iPhone 3G, which is basically iPhone 2. The difference is huge, way bigger than the difference between any other 2 consecutive iPhones, right?
Well, I'll tell you, I might have gotten the iWatch 1.
iWatch 2?
If I had unlimited money and didn't give a shit.
iWatch 2 is going to be a drastic improvement over iWatch 1. I might get it, but I'm probably going to wait for iWatch 3 or 4. Like, when this Pebble Watch dies and is no longer good anymore, when Pebble Time is no longer good enough, doesn't get it done, by that time, there will be an iWatch that is so great and like way thin and hella sick, and I'll get that.
But look at this. It's $300 now for an iWatch. The Pebble Time Steel is $250.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Now, I do think the Pebble is actually superior to the iWatch because
it's not superior in features or screen, but it is superior in
I would say it
actually lasts a long. The battery.
I would say it is superior in screen because
the battery doesn't die and the screen is always on.
Yeah, because the screen is full color. Well, not full color, but it's a lot of color.
It's always on. You can just look at it. You don't have to like shake. It's not black and then you shake it and you see something. It's I can see something, and if I shake it, the LED light turns on.
Yeah. And that makes it abjectly superior in my mind.
Yes, it is great.
And also, the only features the iWatch... Like, the iWatch has a little bit better integration because you obviously have an iPhone, or why do you have an iWatch?
Sure.
And it does navigation better because it just works, like walking and
the graphics are better.
Like, to make navigation work on your Pebble, you have to pay for some guy's app. And the app is fine, but... it doesn't do a lot of UX things that the iWatch does way better, but that is not enough of a reason to get an iWatch instead of a Pebble.
Yeah, no.
Also, the Pebble, I assume the iWatch is waterproof because the Pebble is waterproof.
Yeah, anyway, Apple News number 2. Small iPhone.
Yep, we predicted this. All the rumors were basically 100% true.
Now, what shocked me the most, though, is that according to the presentation that they gave, this new smaller iPhone SE, which is basically the size of an iPhone 5, effectively the perfect size. I'd still like iPhone 4 size, but I am not going to look the gift horse of iPhone 5 size in the mouth. This iPhone SE is basically the same, technologically identical to the iPhone 6S.
Except for a couple things.
Except for, it's basically has the same CPU, the same, right? The screen is smaller, but otherwise it's like just as good. And I'm like, wow, I thought it was going to be as strong as the iPhone 6, not 6S. So now here's the thing. in September, 6 months from now, they're going to come out with iPhone 7.
And rumors imply that the iPhone 7 is a leap forward.
Right.
Or at least a leap.
Right. So, but the iPhone SE they just made is as good as, just smaller than, the iPhone 6S from 6 months ago. So, is the iPhone SE 2 that's going to come out in March of 2017, and don't tell me that's just, it's definitely coming. Will it have everything the iPhone 7 has? Because the pattern would suggest that it will.
The only reason it wouldn't, in my mind, is if there is an engineering challenge and they need that space.
Right, so here's the real deal breaker, right? Will they have something so amazing in the iPhone 7 that it is worth getting the larger phone in order to get that feature that they are adding?
I cannot imagine a feature because
I'm running out of stuff to imagine. They already have everything that I want.
That would be that compelling would be compelling enough for me to have an iPhone 8 SE that's tiny,
right,
and an iPad.
And will that feature, if let's say the iPhone 7 does have a feature that is very compelling that I want to upgrade to get, is in March 2017, will the next iPhone SE have that compelling feature? Because if so, in September, this may be the first September where a contract runs out for me and I do not get a new iPhone and wait 6 months more to get the SE instead and get on the different cycle.
Now, this is the big test.
But that's the thing. I might fuck up if the iPhone 7 has the thing I really want and the SE ends up the SE2 ends up not having it, and I end up just getting an iPhone 7 in March of 2017, now I'm in big trouble.
So, Scott, I suspect the only things I can come up with that the larger phone with its like crazy whatever power and engineering challenges might be able to provide that a small phone won't in the next several years are, one, VR integration stuff that you clearly don't care about.
I don't need that nonsense.
Or two, the kind of stuff you should be doing an iPad for.
I have a giant iPad.
Yeah.
So that's another problem. So my iPad mini broke, random nonsense, right?
And you bought the gigantic cookie pan.
The gigantic iPad Pro, which is
baking dish.
Which is great, by the way.
It is great, but it is a baking dish.
It basically replaced all laptop usage. However, if my iPad mini had not broken at that time, forcing me to get an iPad replacement before I wanted to, I would be getting the one they just announced today.
The small iPad Pro.
Which seems to be like the best iPad there ever was.
I'm probably just going to buy it immediately.
You should. It'd be great.
Yeah, because the regular
I'll
iPad Pro
trade you this big one for it.
Is 12.9 inches.
I'll trade you.
Your iPad Pro is bigger than my laptop.
Buy the small one. I'll trade you the big one for it.
No.
Damn it.
It's 9.7 inches. It's not that much smaller, but that feels like I took a piece of cardboard at work and cut it to that size and held it in my hand. Yeah, that's for me.
It's a good one.
That is what I want.
And tell you, if you go all in on the iPad, you stop using your laptop unless you really, really, really need the keyboard for
Here's
something.
what I need my laptop for.
And you can even get the keyboard if you really want to.
Here's what I'll need my laptop for.
You don't need it.
1, full versions of Adobe software.
You
Premiere.
can use all the mobile versions, which
but
I've never been served well by the mobile versions.
Yeah, I would probably have a workflow that involves both the mobile and the full version, so I'd sometimes need my laptop, but not that often.
Dude, you can get video at a con, start working on it in Premiere Clip on your iPad, and then it's on Creative Cloud, so when you get home, there it is.
Yeah.
And they just put out a new SD reader and for Lightning.
2.
They put out a new Lightning to SD adapter and a new Lightning to USB adapter, so now we can much more easily load our contents if I'm going to buy one of them.
Yeah.
Even though they're overpriced nonsense. But we can much more easily bulk load contents, videos and photos from our other camera devices into iPads on the road.
There is no way for me to do the audio workflows on an iPad.
Oh,
I need the full version of Audition.
There's no mobile Audition.
And I need FireWire input.
There's none of that either.
Yeah. I would not trust that shit to work even if it existed. So there are playing Civ 5. So there are some times.
You can't play Civ 5, but you can play some other games
So
instead.
here's the thing. When I travel overseas for a long trip, I would bring my laptop, not the iPad, because I play Rocket League and Civ and stuff in my hotel room like at night when I'm bored.
You can play iOS games instead.
Get in not Civ 5.
I started playing the Hearthstone again because they
got
a new expansion
I'll
coming.
just play Hearthstone. It depends. If I'm away for like 2 weeks, I kind of want my real laptop to play like Counter-Strike and shit. Because I can just play Counter-Strike on my laptop. It works great.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I guess I could. I just don't even bother trying.
Well, because I have one better laptop than you, and it's enough for Counter-Strike.
I don't even bother.
But for almost everything else, I'd use the iPad Pro, because the iPad Pro, the small one, has 100% of the features of the big one. It's just smaller.
Let me also tell you, the pencil is overpriced. $100 for the pencil, right?
But it's kind of amazing.
I tried some non-pencils and they didn't work. Or like the Adobe version, it was super cheap, discounted. It used to be $200. They discounted. I bought one. It's not compatible. They basically, Adobe's like, fuck that thing with our logo on it. We'll just go in on Apple Pencil.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop supporting the thing with our brand on it. I'm like, whoa. So I caved after trying the pencil at the Apple Store again, and I paid the $100. And fuck them, $100. But
now I want to just.
The pencil is so good.
I want to just.
It's even as a non-artist, it's basically I'm having used a Cintiq and still not being an artist. It's better than a Cintiq. It's like it feels like you're on paper. It's like, oh my god.
Well, I actually will probably buy the pencil as well, because I actually draw a lot at work now. I've sort of like my UX game. I've been doing much more complex UX projects, and I've sort of been taking over for what other people would do and sort of like going deeper into the stack on some big things. And I draw a lot now.
I've saved so much paper, just all the doodling at work, not on real paper anymore.
Or like when I write notes, like I used to have a Post-it note and I'd write like, here's the 4 things I got to do right now.
Just got to write down an IP address real quick. And it's like, sure, I could just type that into Notepad, but it actually is faster to take the pencil, write the IP address and notes, then go back to the, right? It's,
yep.
You know?
Also, you don't want to have like, you have 4 notepads open because you're in a hurry and a bunch of different things. Like, wait, that's a bad workflow.
Yep.
But a lot of people make fun of the pen because they see it
Another thing you can do.
They see it plugged into the side of the iPad charging. Guys, that's not how you charge it normally. That's what you do if you're like running low on battery.
No, actually, that is how you charge it normally.
No, most people plug it into another thing.
You have to plug it into like a weird thing.
Which is what most people do.
I've never done that.
The whole point of
also, it charges for so long. I've only charged it once since I bought it.
Well, because that's the thing. If it's low on battery, like dying, and you plug it into the side for like a minute, it gives you hours of time.
Yeah, you charge it by plugging it into the iPad. You don't do the other cable thing.
Yeah, most people I know do the cable
I haven't
thing.
seen anyone do the cable
Of course,
thing.
most of them also have a MacBook.
Another great feature is I have the Lightning to HDMI connector, right? Which is another rip-off $50 fucking thing. But you can plug the iPad, any iPad or even iPhone, into a screen with that, because HDMI. If you have the pencil on the iPad Pro, you can now do drawing like on your lap, and everyone can see it on the screen or the projector or whatever it is, and you can demo like this whiteboard. Oh, it's so good.
So they announced like Siri was expanded to more things like Apple TV.
Who gives a shit? No one cares.
I read a lot of articles talking about why people stop using Siri, and this is an interesting.
I disabled Siri on everything I have.
Yeah.
The thing is, there actually is a cute. This is the second time Cookie Monster has come up in this episode. There's a cute Apple commercial with Cookie Monster where he's baking cookies, and he uses Siri to like set a timer and listen to music because he doesn't want to. He's got his hands are dirty from baking, and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea, but I'm still not going to enable Siri.
So the Care Kit, like all their Research Kit health stuff.
But there is a lot of times where I'm cooking something or I touch sticky bread dough and I don't want to touch my phone, and Siri would be good then, but
nah. You know what I did, Scott?
You,
actually, because Amazon fucked up, I have 2 of them. I have a USB keyboard that rolls up and is waterproof.
That doesn't work too. USB key. Oh, there is a new. I wonder if keyboards work with the new adapter they have.
Yeah, because if they do, you want to just wireless garbage keyboard to use in the kitchen?
If I could get a Bluetooth keyboard that's kitchen-proof, that would work really well.
Yeah, I haven't seen those because this is some low-rent, like, roll-upable nonsense.
I mean, I could sort of also just use the pencil, right? Because I'm not touching the screen with my dirty hand or just touching the pencil.
So people aren't that excited about it, but Care Kit, like Apple's like health tracking stuff, is super awesome.
If you have a health problem, that's probably life-changing.
Well, but
like they showed that person with epilepsy in the video. I'm like, wow, that is great.
But like
I'm lucky enough not to have a problem.
I track all my exercise, and I actually use Google Fit and things.
I track all my exercise.
Yeah.
None of it.
I also track, like, if I have a pain or, like, if anything happens, I do, like, keep track of it. So I'll remember, like...
I don't do that.
It's useful, like, when I went to the doctor with my jaw, to be able to say, this is exactly when that started hurting.
Mm-hmm.
But all the cool stuff that Care Kit does really needs doctors and clinics to use this shit. Which
Also, you're
don't.
expecting they show all the examples like require a doctor to actually be paying that close attention,
yeah,
right? And caring about you and spending that much time on you. And even though it might take less time for the doctor to pay attention to you because they can just look at their screen and see the data and touch a few buttons, is a doctor really gonna fucking do that? Doctor can't even like use the computer they got, right?
The renewable green stuff they talked about was actually some interesting gems.
You're
going
to be able to use this if you go to the doctor that, Tim Cook goes to in San Francisco, and that's about it.
Well, like I said with the dentist now, as I'm shopping for doctors, I'm going to go check out a bunch of people with, like every time I go to the doctor, and unless they have modern technology in the office, I'm never going back.
Sure. But have you ever been to a doctor that's Apple anything?
I've
gone to places with modern technology, but they don't have Apple shit.
So, but the environmental stuff, so their little robot.
We need to talk about that too.
I think it's actually interesting.
It's a cute video. That's about it.
Yeah, but that Liam robot, recycling iPhones, like actually recycling them to make other technology with, is actually kind of a big deal because e-waste is a serious problem. And most tech companies are doing nothing about it.
Best Buy's doing a lot, actually. You can recycle all sorts of stuff at Best Buy.
From what I can gather, a lot of that was because they were sort of forced to, or there's tax breaks. Which I guess, if guy does good things for bad reasons, still good.
It's not a bad reason, but also, it's like there's plenty of... I very rarely see people just like throwing cell phones in the garbage these days, right? It seems like... the vast majority of at least phones that no one wants anymore.
Well, you say that, but where would you see what the average person does with their broken, like, iPhone 5 that they couldn't get repaired?
Goes to eBay.
Yeah, does it?
I'm telling you. There's not a lot of phones in the garbage these days.
I don't know.
Also, we're approaching the point where it's cheaper to get rare metals from old phones than it is to dig them out of the ground from crazy other countries.
It's also way more ethical.
So even if you don't care about the environment, it's economically good to recycle at least these rare elements.
There was one other... Oh, yeah, so... I suspect that they weren't originally going to talk about this, but, because of the encryption FBI stuff, they basically told the FBI to eat a bag of dicks.
Yep.
And they pretty much doubled down on saying that they're going to add increasingly awesome encryption features to iOS and make security a serious focus.
Yep.
That's actually really important news.
We knew that already.
Yeah, but the fact that they
just affirmed what we already knew.
They're also... It's kind of important because early on in this, the majority of Americans were pro-FBI and anti-Apple. I think Apple is actually doing something very important here. They're advocating for the right thing.
Well, this is actually... So Apple's talked about this stuff like tons of times.
Yeah.
This is the first time they talked about it at their Apple event, which I think is a big deal because that's like to the public and not just to the nerds.
And they basically told the public, we've got your back. And the public is starting to come around and be on Apple's side as the FBI increasingly sounds shrill and dangerous. So... I think this is actually important that Apple is sticking to this, and you might say that Apple is doing it out of their own self-interest because having a secure platform is good for their business. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. All right, I guess you got any more Apple news?
No, we had the one more news, and it was the T-Mobile thing.
Yes. So T-Mobile has
We've
done
talked about this
thing.
Before once, I think.
I don't think we actually. I think we mentioned it offhandedly.
Well, this is kind of important. So
this is a specific. We talk about net neutrality. And this is actually a very specific example where we can ignore analogies and talk about the literal reality of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So T-Mobile has this thing called Binge On, where you get your 5 or 10 or however many gigabytes you pay for of data. But if you stream video from the services that they support with this thing, and you don't opt out, it appears that it's... I don't know if I'm opted into it or out. I gotta go check, actually.
You can check on their website, I think.
Yeah, because you can just turn this on or off in your settings.
Mm-hmm.
But if you stream from one of the services they support, they will not count any of the bandwidth you use, but they'll throttle your videos down to 1.5 megabits per second,
right?
Which ends up being a 480p video.
Right. So these services have basically integrated with T-Mobile and built against their API and configured their streaming servers to be like, oh, if the person visiting YouTube is Binge On enabled, then send this video stream, and if not, just do what you normally do.
Yep. So basically, if I watch Netflix or YouTube or whatever at full Ps, I'll actually burn through my 5 gigs pretty quick if I do that on a regular basis.
I pretty much only ever use up all my data if I go to like 2 conventions and watch YouTube videos on my phone.
Yep, 2 conventions in a month. That'll do it.
And there's no Wi-Fi at the convention, which there usually isn't.
I don't use it watching videos. I use it because I always tether my laptop and then other people's laptops.
I'll watch like one YouTube video on the stupid the bus or my iPad tethered to my phone, and that's it.
But actually, when I think about it, if I could just tell my phone, independently of T-Mobile or these ideas, hey, only show me videos at 480p because that'll way cut down the bandwidth.
You can do that.
I can, but I don't think to.
No.
But I could, if it was easy.
And you don't want to.
If I could put it in a...
The worst is when things are subtitled, there's hard subtitles and not closed captions.
Yeah, because then 480p doesn't cut
because then you can't see the subtitles at 480p because they're pixely.
So I guess the question is this a net neutrality concern?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Right? So it is because basically you're giving preferential treatment. You're not treating all traffic identically.
So
right?
if Joey Jojo Shabadoo makes his Twitch competitor and he doesn't implement all this?
Right. So I make a Twitch competitor, and visiting my Twitch competitor is going to cost someone bandwidth. But if they go to Twitch, it won't. They're more likely to go to Twitch, and that's unfair competition because of something T-Mobile did. T-Mobile is favoring Twitch, right? Which is not cool. Now, the only thing that makes this kind of okay, and the reason that Google actually agreed to, integrate with it.
Yeah, Google added YouTube to it recently, which is why we're talking about it.
Is because they're not choosing who can do this. You can, if you're, say, a Twitch competitor, just add binge on. T-Mobile's not going to be like, no. They'll just let you do it.
Yep. They also do not throttle other traffic. It's not like we'll throttle everything unless, they're on the service. What they're basically saying is we won't throttle anything, but you can opt into throttling these few things if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you do that, we'll give you a boon of not charging you.
You can almost say it's like, wow, what if T-Mobile was like IPv6 only, right? And it's like you can implement IPv6 if you want, or you don't. And it's your choice. People with T-Mobile can see you or they can't, right? And it's like,
I guess the way I would put it, because I don't want to do the show too much longer because I'm kind of hungry. But
way hungry.
I am okay with this, but this is basically the line.
I really wish they would just say, because really all these bandwidth limits are a scam.
Well, with cell stuff, it's a little more complicated because
it's still mostly a scam. Everyone is way overcharging. There's definitely still price fixing, despite previous court cases about price fixing. They're still doing it. And I would like to see some crackdowns, get us some real, pricing. You look at the prices in Europe and other countries, and it's
so Sal. Here's the question: we could, well, not the question, but here's a supposition. We could probably, by relaxing certain neutrality regulations and coverage regulations, get unlimited crazy bandwidth in the cities, and people who live outside of the cities would just be fucked.
But right, how about instead we just say, hey, really rich companies like Verizon, unlimited bandwidth for everyone, deal with it. Fuck you. You must do what we say.
So
you'll be less profitable, but you'll still be profitable. Deal with it.
What if they wouldn't be profitable anymore because all their other revenue streams are drying up, and just being a utility company is not a super attractive business?
Then
what if that would work, but Verizon would basically have to become like the electric company and would have to be subsidized with tax dollars to say solve it?
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying what if.
I mean, what if Verizon became more like Con Edison? I'm like, well, Con Edison's keeping the power on.
I think
my electricity's good quality.
I think internet should be regulated.
I've had way less power outs in New York City than anywhere else I've lived.
I think internet should be regulated and controlled like a utility, and it should be a government initiative.
Just eminent domain, Verizon and Verizon Wireless. And
I think the U.S. government
has
a vested interest in spending taxpayer dollars to ensure very high bandwidth connectivity to the majority of citizens in the country, the majority of people in the country.
Every person.
Yeah, because I think that would be a net boon.
If you're a citizen and you own a property and you want internet to come to that property, it should happen no matter what.
So, but in terms of net neutrality with this service,
like if I bought a house literally like in the middle of the woods, like this, like I find the spot in the U.S. that's farthest away from any other house.
I feel like
and I built a house and I wanted electricity to come to that house, it would come to that house.
I almost disagree because actually, in some
places,
would
a telephone line.
And and I feel like maybe by providing that assurance, we have enabled people to spread into territory that is not feasible for humans to live in, and that suburban sprawl was partly caused by subsidization of rural and suburban infrastructure.
I agree. If there was a law that said if I had a house, then internet has to come to it, I sure as hell would get a second house real cheap in the middle of nowhere and have internet go to it.
We would have a waterfall house somewhere in bumfuck New York, and we'd hang out there on weekends, and if our friends found it a game studio, we'd tell them to go live in the house.
I would definitely have such a place.
Oh my God, I would have a place faster than you could blink. You know,
yes, I agree that probably happened.
yeah. But yeah, I feel
and
like
I agree that I'm hungry. Can we end it now? Is there really
I am
more?
okay with the T-Mobile thing, but like I think that's the line.
I'm
Like,
only sort of okay with it.
well, I'm okay with it if it's the line. Kind of like I was mostly okay with copyright pre-Sonny Bono if that had been the line. I said kind of okay and the line. Neither of those things ended up being okay.
I'm not
going to
get mad and riot like some other situations, but
if T-Mobile pushed this a little bit further, I would be pitchforks.
Nope. Yeah.
This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.
Geek Nights has a Patreon, and all of the people who are giving us at least $5 are listed now in every episode in the order of the amount of money they are giving us on a continuing basis. Rebecca Dunn, Nicholas Brandow, Heidi McNichol, Amanda Duchette, James David White, Christian Kuntz, Jess, MyStady.com, Mechanical Mind, William Eisenrose, Jeremy Miner. You expect the next name to be yours, but it was me, Dio. Scott John Harrison, Sean Yeager, Clinton Walton, Ren from New Zealand, Robert Lee, Ryan Perrin, Drew Openlander, Rare Laval, Brian Cedrone, Rochelle Montanona, Finn Eric Solverot, Can't Melt Steel Beams, Kinetic Man, Aaron Cerise, Chris Midkiff, Chris Knox, The Magical Black Guy, Sam Cordery, Daniel Redmond, Chris Haddad, Sean Klein, Chris Reimer, and Thomas Hahn. We are real close to hitting that goal. So actually, I realized the goals got set upward because Patreon a while ago changed the way it counts pledges and removes transaction fees and all this nonsense. But basically, we were actually literally $3 away from hitting the goal where I'm going to release all the beta pre-publication episodes of Geek Nights with commentary, remastered, all that nonsense. So we're real close to it regardless. Stay tuned. Beyond that, like I said, we're going to be at Anime Boston. We're going to be at ZenkaiCon. Some stuff's going on. And as I posted in the forum, I'm going to do something fun on Patreon, but sadly you guys won't see it for a while. Once our all-human front row crew long-term play-by-mail Civ 5 game gets far enough along to where none of the intelligence that I will be sharing can harm me, I am going to basically give you guys a long video of my updates in this game, turn by turn, or at least all the turns if something interesting happens, starting with a tour of Portugal, my glorious, entirely peaceful nation, though I'm sure the retrospective will find out that I was anything but peaceful. We'll see how that goes. I don't think anyone in the game is listening to this except one person with whom I have a tentative alliance, and I expect that someone else will probably declare war on them long before I do. But that is neither here nor there. The important thing is that I always try to do these last bits and rims, rants, and everything as one long take, no retakes, no cuts, no nothing. I won't even pause this recording. I'm trying to force myself to be able to do patter constantly without stop, even when I don't have Scott there. You're going to see a good example of that at ZenkaiCon because Scott finally confirmed to me that he is bailing on ZenkaiCon, which I kind of anticipated because every year I always submit panels that I could do entirely on my own. And once again, I will do them entirely on my own, except for one that I'll do with our other Scott, Scott Johnson. But anyway, that is all I'm going to say on this one because I am running out of stuff to say right now. I'm sort of just droning on and on. And now I present to you something odd. Though I do want to point out, a while ago, people used to say in the forum, like, oh, I know what that is. I know what that, like, they'd recognize the weird thing I put in the end of the show. And people stopped doing it for a while. And polling around, it appears that I have finally gone beyond the pale, and literally no one knows what some of those things I have posted in these stingers was actually from. So I'm gonna dial it back a little bit, and you might recognize some over the next few weeks, but I will return in the far and distant future to the most obscure nonsense that you have ever heard at the end of the show.